right in the heart with a silver bullet.
Yeah. I think they plotting on me. Don't wipe their feet when they enter the L.A.R. I feel a cold stare. Think I ain't looking. Maybe because I'm focused. No handout for the hopeless. Funny bullets, I caught some shots. Another piece of the puzzle connecting dots. You can find the truth of laughter and liquor. One more shot to an empty bottle. If you gon' walk there like a model for me, like I don't see her intentions all in my soul. At a time we were just friends, with advice to land. Not special, I was dead broke, but we still got hope. Don't take my words, just back and issue that raw dough. Just back and issue that raw dough. Back and issue that raw dough. To the people that listen to my people, they know that I do care. With your hands in the air, rocking side to side. Now my work, yeah, it's time to ride. Where my niggas at? My niggas ain't my niggas no more. Push me to the back, label to change up the swag. I do it for us, I'm pro-black. Don't rock it the shit, yeah. Wouldn't be so all type of African shit. Just rock a table fade, swagger tailor-made. Polo cornrows and fly kicks. Just polo cornrows and fly kicks. Exclusive shit, not get big. Keep it coming, just don't stop. The revolution starts with shots.
I'm respectful to my people, and I want to represent my people, and I don't want to be a bad representative. I can't be blind, let the blind lead the blind, they all follow you.
Now my mama said, baby, act like you got sense. They act like I only act right for Lent. Been living in purgatory, but I'm nosing for heaven. Not sure if I'm getting in, cause I ain't paid a reverence. Who looking at me when I ain't looking, judging my character? I can't put down my guard on this planet, packing the camera. Ready for my close-up, the lens gets bigger. Won't play me on BET, cause I am not a nigga. My heart is like a powder keg, ready to explode. Smell like strange food, cause I'm America's cologne. It started with the hello, think you're a nice fellow. You're ballin' like Carmelo, you choosing like Othello. L.A.R. we the stars, turn a rapper to a prophet. Bulletproof 306, keep your hands in your pocket. Jordan rules for my life, you contain them, can't stop them. I'm niggas sky high, so the clouds can't drop them. My life is like a miracle, my words are just imperial. I'm edible, I'm audible, I'm digital, I'm visual. Spit like Komodo, go like Bruce Lee, Roy beating the mean as bad as Mofo in the dojo. Life is so amazing and raps like Jesus. They said hip-hop is dead, but today look like Easter.
Now I wake up in the morning, I'm black and handsome as ever. However, you see me as strange fruit, will it ever happen, not again. A crooked just a homicide, he know it's self-defense. But since I'm black and since he white, he got no common sense. That's 1969, and he ain't Jesus Christ. He ain't coming back on Easter, he ain't got a second life. You know I'm right? Hold up, look. Now the sirens in my window here, pull it over. License and registration, gun ain't never in the holster. Plus, that man black too, he wanna act too. A nigga with an attitude and a badge too. A couple tattoos, hoping I act a fool so he can squeeze too. But it ain't nothing different, they the same thing. They pull him over, he gon' get the same thing. Maybe 2 up in his brain, 21 gun salute. Last words was I'm a copy, last heard fuck you. And he ain't coming back, you know I'm black like Jesus. But I ain't coming back for Easter, y'all say goodbye. Everybody cry, second line. But when the music stop, move on. Cause I ain't coming home, they know I'm black like Jesus. But I ain't coming back for Easter, everybody cry. Y'all say goodbye, second line. But when the music stop, move on. Cause I ain't coming home, I'm unless you on welfare. Law said that they can't live there, so we ain't there. And life ain't fair, but the food free and the rent cheap. His roaches where you sleep. He still came around and taught you baseball. Bought a Barbie doll, he raised all of y'all. And now the kids adults, they both up in the court. She want that child support, he on that child support. But he ain't never taught him baseball, and she ain't never bought him Barbie dolls. They both never there, no, never, not at all. Saying, well, pull your pants up, go while your ass out. They looking back saying, why, y'all ain't ever in the house? You got it backwards, don't you? I'm saying, cause we still preaching unity. And it's supposed to be family first in community. Got it in church to $1 for your blessing. We made in God's image, thinking with Satan's mind. They got us crossed up, now Judas is Caesar. America bury me, but I ain't coming back for Easter. Yeah, they know I'm black like Jesus. But I ain't coming back for Easter, y'all say goodbye. Everybody cry, second line. But when the music stop, move on. Cause I ain't coming home, they know I'm black like Jesus. But I ain't coming back for each to everybody cry. Y'all say goodbye, second line. But when the music stop, move on. Cause I ain't coming home, I'm gone.
What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. You see the thumbnail, man. With all of this stuff with Kanye, Kyrie Irving, and now Dave Chappelle. And excuse me, I got the flu. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm sounding like this. But I just wanted to have a conversation about, the issues that people are having with race and religion in America. And why it creates such a big deal. Because ultimately, what you're seeing is people who, hold on for a second. I got a message. Hold up. So, here's the thing. When it comes to a lot of this stuff with as far as the idea of people saying somebody's anti-Semitic, Jesus Christ, anti-Semitic, or they're against this or they're against that and they need to be canceled. America has this interesting history with race and religion, and the problem with it is it's all BS. Like, it's all a hustle, Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, man. You know it. So here's the thing. Let's start with, we got black, we got white. As far as race, we got Hispanic, we got Asian. All right. Hold up. All right. Hold up. Yeah. Sorry, y'all. People try to cheat me. People looking out because I'm sick or whatever. So we got black, we got white, we got Hispanic, we got Asian, and we have America. Like, if I would do this, I don't usually do the split screen thing. I might think about it today because I might want to show y'all something that normally happens as far as race. Yeah, man. You're my kind of woman, that's what you are. I know. Yeah, I feel like that too. I really do. There's only one like you. See, you got me playing around. I'm screwed, man. My bad. But with the screen thing, there's a clip of what is that? Let me see, share screen. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna see if I can find it. If I find it, I'm gonna put it up here. So now let me see if I get it. Because if I do, I'm gonna show y'all a clip of what was that? What was the show? It was God dog it, Fargo season 4. You know, it's Fargo season 4. And with Fargo, what he did was, I didn't even think about this at the time. What he was talking about when guys were in jail. Yeah, I found it. Let's see if I can do this. Let's see. Hold up. Tell me if y'all can see it. Tell me if y'all can hear that. Can you hear that? No, you can't hear it? Okay. All right, I'm gonna get it then. Audio low. Got you. No problem. I know what I'm gonna do then. Let's see, I'm gonna rewind this joint. Let's see if we do it now. It says it's sharing now, so. What the hell just happened? Tell me if you can hear it now. Man, this thing is killing me right now, man. This thing is killing me right now. Because this is what it is. You know what? If you can't hear me, nope. Okay, no problem. All right. I got you. So I'm gonna do it this way because it's freezing on my doggone phone, on my screenshot. Okay. No problem. Because I'm really trying to get it right, but it didn't want to do it, so no problem. All right. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm going to play it for you this way.
You know why America loves a crime story? Because America is a crime story. But here's the rub. When we hear a crime story, who do we root for? Not the poor sap that got taken, the victim, no. We root for the taker, the guy with the gat. See, this country loves a man. Takes what he wants. Unless that man looks like you. Capiche? See, Johnny Society looks at me. They see a fella that's using crime to get ahead. But you, all they see is crime. And that's why you're gonna lose. Because I can take all the money and pussy I want and still run for president. But you, it's always gonna be the rope. Tell him it's time to surrender.
Now, I had a thumbnail of that a while back. I'm glad y'all could hear it then. It was called, so when you look it up on YouTube, it's like Justo Fado, Jostofaddo, and season 4 of Fargo. And it's like a jail scene. So the guy that you were listening to was the actor playing the Italian mob boss, who basically walked in to the jail, to the police station, and had the cops open up the cell so he can open up the doors so he could talk to the black gangsters who he was quote unquote in business with and at war with at the same time. And that's the speech he gave him. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because this is the issue in America with race and religion. And sorry that it took all of that for you to hear it, but at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is religion is just a tool that people use to act like they're good people while they're playing a capitalistic game. So when it comes to white people, Christianity was not used to spread goodness across the world. That's not what they use it for. They didn't use God as a means to bring goodness into people's lives. They used God as a tool to steal from people, to lie to people, to cheat people, to even murder people, to steal their stuff. That's what the religion was used for. Now the issue with it is, as far as racially as it's concerned with race, what winds up happening is this. You wind up in a situation where the rules of religion and God change per race. So if you white on white doing it, we're gonna do only a certain amount. Because it's bad if it's white on white. But if it's white on other than, it's not bad. God they don't look at God the same way. So when I was listening to Jon Stewart earlier on Stephen Colbert's show when they were talking about the anti-Semitism, you know, and he was basically saying Kanye is erratic because he's bipolar. So I expect erratic stuff to come from him. It's not a big deal. The Kyrie thing, it was like, we can't just label everything anti-Semitism. The Dave Chappelle thing is like, okay, so now we can't even have free speech and have a joke about something. But it just depends on who's saying it. So what we're going to get into today is how hypocritical religion and race have been in the world, and especially the United States. So one of the things Jon Stewart was talking about was he doesn't agree with the occupation of Palestine, or some people go, well, Israel. Well, it depends on who's talking, right? So you can't say that the United States government is basically giving money to Jewish people every year to push Palestinians out of their homeland, which necessarily historically really wasn't their homeland either, but that's not the point. So this government is paying to move somebody out. Now the irony of that is this. This is the same United States that went to war with Germany because of the Holocaust. And if I'm not mistaken, historically, I think Russia actually did the bulk of the heavy lifting when it came to fighting Germany in the Holocaust. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I don't think I am. But the United States turned around and funded basically Jewish people to basically kick out Palestinians from their own homes. So you could say basically the United States helped save Jewish people from the Nazis, and then turned around and became the Fifth Reich to Palestinians, and using religion. So it's like, it's hypocritical. And for people to say, you should never forget, it comes off bad because you have people in the same lifetime who can say either they were in the Holocaust or their parents or grandparents were in the Holocaust, and at the same time, they're just chucking people from Palestine out of the city and, bombing them and killing them and whatnot. And it's like, this is a hell of an extreme, man. You went from one end to the other in less than 60, 70 years? I forget the time. Let's just say 80. In less than 100 years. No, it should be 60 or 70 because the World War was like in the 40s, if I'm not mistaken. 40s or 50s. And then the 60s, I want to say, is when Israel became a state. So I say roughly like 50 years. You went from one extreme to another. And people go, that's not cool. But because it's white on what you would consider Middle Eastern, it's not a problem. Let's just act like that doesn't happen. That's a problem. Now, that's the same thing I was going to say, like when I was using the clip with Justo Fado, the clip from Fargo. If you ever watch actually the Fargo season 4, it's supposed to be based on a true story. And part of the true story was actually Chris Rock's character that played the gangster was trying to basically get out of the criminal element and get into banking because he, quote unquote, introduced a credit card into society. And he went to banks to pitch the idea, and they kept shooting him down. And then he's driving one day and he pulls over and he looks at a billboard, and it's a billboard for a credit card. And once again, you know, a man has an idea, a man pitches an idea to start a business. The business says that's not a bad idea, and they turn right around and use that idea, and he doesn't get paid for it, right? And in America, that's a normal thing. That's a very normal thing, especially if you're black. And then people subsequently act like, hey, you know, pick yourself up by your bootstraps, you know. That's not a big deal. That's business. And it's not business, because the problem with that, the business aspect of it is this. It's only business when you're doing it to somebody, quote unquote, black. And now I'm going to go back and I'm going to say this for a reason. One of the issues with race and religion in America is, see, if you're white and Christian, or you're white and Jewish, or you can be white and Muslim. As long as you're white, you can slide into what do you call, the business room and get treated more fairly than you would if you were somebody else. So let's not play this game. This is why, you know, when people were talking about people changing their names, you know, Jewish people change their names. Okay, they were still seen as white. And they knew if they changed their names, white people couldn't tell the difference because they're white. So they were able to get better deals because they were treated better because they changed their name. Now, I don't know if some of y'all know this, but initially Jewish people were, you know, athletes and entertainers. And they went from athletes and entertainers to basically owners in entertainment, you know. But the big bulk of that was because they were white. And same thing to me, in my opinion, when I see white people upset at Jewish people, I'm like, I don't know how, because you treated them so poorly. When they changed their names, you switched up. All they had to do was change their last name and act like they wasn't Jewish, and y'all switched up all the rules with them. Oh, we're buddies, we're friends, da 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 da. You know, hey man, I'm gonna give you the hookup. You know, we're just trying to keep them blacks out. And a lot of people got into a lot of powerful positions doing that. And you know, us as black people, we understand it because there were a lot of people who were, not a lot, but there were a lot of people back in the day who were passe blanc. And if y'all don't know what passe blanc means, that's a French word, French phrase that they use in Louisiana for passing for white. Passe, passing, blanc means white. You know, so what winds up happening was people saw how, you know, black people saw how, hey man, they treat you completely differently if they think you white. So now you have an issue because you see it in place. Like America is different. America is completely different because of race. Not just religion is a part of it, but it's because of race. You know, that's the same thing when you see Hispanics. You know, the ones who are quote unquote whiter, they probably can move better than the ones who are more Native American looking. That's what that La Raza thing comes from. You know, they have an issue. They're still Christian or Catholic, but they have a racial issue. They don't like certain races. They're more partial to, you know, white folks. So if you can get whiter and whiter and whiter, they will, you know, and it's supposed to, you know, purify the race. I don't know why, but that's what it is. But it becomes an issue because what winds up happening is you get people who, in order to show your allegiance, you got to do something basically racist. basically. Y'all are the same religion, two different races, but to show your allegiance, you got to pick an enemy that's not white and it's not Hispanic. So 9 times out of 10 is going to be black. And the same thing goes with the Asian population. It's the same thing over and over again. It's just different race, sometimes different religion, because Asians, you might be Christian, you might be Jewish, you might be Muslim, or you might be Buddhist, Taoist, whatever. But it's the same principle. And because of that principle, we're going to always have an issue in America. I think the only difference is, say, with Asians, is they've kind of accepted that, and I might be wrong when I say this, because I can't speak for other groups per se. I'm just from the outside looking in. I think Asians in particular have accepted there's only so far you can go in America, even under capitulating to whiteness. That's why they always have their own banks and their own, Asian centers and whatever, because they realize there's only so much. Now, I was laughing one day. Me and my lady was going by an Asian, like a Chinatown-esque place out here in Texas, and I laughed and I said, what's funny? If we had something like this, we as black people, they would really they would tear us down with all kinds of city council issues. We would get all kinds of what do you call those? Not housing. It could be a brand new facility, brand new spot. The city will come through. Oh man, we got all of these complaints. We got all of these. I can't think of the name of it. When they ticket you for violations, we have all of these unnecessary violations. We violated the noise code. We violated, what do we call it? Health code. It'll be brand new. Oh, it's too much electricity. It's the bathroom is horrible. Oh, like they'll be over and over again, just violation after violation after violation, until they could either shut it down or have to buy it. Like that's what they do to us. And I was laughing because I said, man, literally, like if we had our own little black town, I swear to God, they'd ticket us into oblivion. Other people don't have that. Like when people think about, what about the Asians? They don't get ticketed like crazy. They don't get the violations. And people go, well, how do black people know? How do y'all know this is going to be true? And it's funny because a lot of black businesses have these violation problems a lot of the times when they're competing in the same, say, strip centers or just sides of town, as their quote unquote white, Hispanic, Asian counterparts. So if you have somebody in the strip center and they're doing good business and they're making money, I promise you, if the other people aren't black, they're gonna call. There was a thing where there was this guy in Chicago who had a big, nice restaurant. I think it was a restaurant. It's like upscale place on the north side of Chicago. They were putting bags of feces in front of the door. They were doing, they were destroying his business from the outside to get him violated to the point where he had to basically move. Now on the flip side, in another business in Chicago, it was a shoe store. They had black folks robbing it. They just kept breaking it in, robbing, to the point where they couldn't even get insurance anymore, and they got robbed for the last time, and it was like, we just got to shut it down, bro. Because now, we're not even covered. So some of that is on us too, right? But the issue with race and religion in America is always, it's this hypocritical forked tongue situation where you can do it, but I can't do it. Even if it's legal. If it's legal, you can do it, and I can't do it. And if it's illegal, you can do it, and I for sure can't do it. And people want to play this game about, America and parity and how we're gonna, how we're supposed to get ahead and do this and do that. And sometimes the business aspect is the race and religion part. It becomes an issue because people think like people like myself don't know the history. And what I mean by history is, excuse me, I'm sorry, y'all. I come from a family who owned land. And when I was a child, my great grandmother was living in the projects in New Orleans. She was living at the same time as projects. And I became a young adult when I found out the reason my grandmother was living in the same time as my great grandmother was living in the same time as projects is because my great grandfather owned land, oil rigs, and cattle. And when he died, the white people in that town tried to kill my great grandmother, so they ran her out of the town. So in order for her to hide, she ran to New Orleans and stayed in the projects, the place that they wouldn't go. They wouldn't try to find her. And to her dying day, she was in the projects. You know what I'm saying? So everybody wasn't just, it wasn't just a poverty thing. It was sometimes a protection thing. And then on the flip side, my grandfather, because some of y'all don't realize, like, one of the things when they say white people, well, Jewish people and black people had kind of a friendship, a coalition, during the Jim Crow. People wouldn't give black people mortgages to buy houses. So initially, white people would do it. And there was a lot of times where Jewish people would do it. But it has to be, quote unquote, we're friends or whatever, right? So what happened with my grandfather was he basically got a house like that and was paying the guy. And he got to the point where he was paying the house off, and then he got booted. Because the guy was like, well, I got the property now. It's in my name. I got the money. I'm just doing good business. So a lot of times that pick yourself up by your bootstraps on one end, white people to do it that weren't Jewish. It was like, okay, this is what they're doing. And then on the other end, when there's white people who were Jewish, and it was like, okay, we're going to work with you because we're trying to be a team or blah, 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 because we both dealt with oppression. And then they'll jam you up and stab you in the back too. But then, and that was my great grandmother and my grandfather. I saw them both with my own eyes in my own life. You see what I'm saying? So, some 20, 30 years later, people go, man, I don't know what the issue is. And the issue is, yeah. And the issue is people know these things. People don't really, people don't realize that people's families have had these conversations. The reason why, our position is X, Y, and Z right now is because this happened and this happened and this happened. And now you get people who go, okay, are we really friends? Are our groups really friends? And it's the same thing that happened even in New Orleans with the Asian folks, like the Vietnamese culture. It used to be, they after Vietnam, they had a population that came to New Orleans. And what happened was, back in the day, New Orleans, black folks in New Orleans would help each other build their houses. So we wound up having, quote unquote, better homes than the white folks in New Orleans, because we were using our trade skills to help each other out. So when the Asians came, they were trying to figure out what was going on and how to do it. So guess who taught them how to build their neighborhoods and build their homes and look out for each other? We did. So that is part of the infusion of Louisiana culture. That's why you get French culture, which is white, Italian culture, which is white, Black culture from, that really extends from Africa to the Caribbean because of the slave trade, you know what I'm saying? Because they used to bring people in ports. So you have that culture also, and then you have the Asian culture from Vietnam. So it all, kind of, it melts together in a sense. But what happened was, with Asians, when it was their time to, let's just say, blend in and assimilate, they were willing to throw us under the bus and beef with us unnecessarily. And that's what happened. So now it's like, okay, we got these issues with race and religion. So now people separate themselves. And it's one thing to be tribal and I'm comfortable with my group and I get it. It's another thing to be unnecessarily adversarial to somebody, because you really, to be an American, you have to, and it's sad to say this, but to be an American, if you're not Black, you have to hate Black people. You know what I'm saying? Because I forgot about the Indian culture, my bad, in New Orleans too. Because that was a big Choctaw land. So all of these things come to play, and what you wind up seeing over time is, you see how, I'm getting to the Dave Chappelle thing and the Kyrie Irving thing and all that. You see how free speech is not free. You can talk about certain people, but you can't talk about other people. Now, I would think that if I could be wrong, I think that white people have an issue because I think when it comes to white people and Jewish people, you can say whatever you want about white people, but you can't say whatever you want about Jewish people. And it's like, wait a minute, how did you get exempt? You know what I'm saying? Like, because we've done the right thing, we've done good. And it's like, how good have you really done? Like, we know you, we know the type of things you've done, and y'all not as good as us. Don't even try it. Because they participated in a lot of different things. But the same thing goes on with the Asians, the Hispanics, and even some of us Black people who are here and who come from other countries. That's the whole other aspect of it, where the issue with race and religion becomes, you can be a hypocrite if you point it in a certain direction. And now it's kind of becoming a problem. And the reason I say it's becoming a problem, because it's always now, because everybody has a smartphone, news travels faster. And it's not just news anymore. It's real-time video and audio. Real-time video and audio. Now you're seeing people get caught up in their lies. Real time. You're seeing people spin something out of context, but you can see it in real time. Now you don't have to speculate about what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even talking about that, fam. I ain't even talking about that at all. But I got you. But what you wind up having is people, you don't have to speculate now. So now you got this issue where, excuse me, where people are trying to spin reality in front of your face, and everybody ain't going with it. Because now you're seeing people have to buy into it. Like, okay, I'm gonna just roll with this lie like everybody else. Well, now you're seeing people go, you're reaching. That's a lie. You're reaching. And sometimes you can see it other ways, where you see people who are reaching, to make something, to cover something up. You know what I'm saying? I've been sick. You seeing people cover up stuff, because you see that a lot, even like online, where somebody, you can see something that's dead wrong, but now we're looking for a reason, like like an excuse, like, look, man, get that person a pass because of this, get that person a pass because of that, you know. And now it's like people are looking at that hypocrisy also. It's like, man, we're gonna have an issue because now we got an issue. And what I mean by that is now we're looking at, when it comes to race and religion, there ain't no such thing as, you know, everybody can get canceled. You know, everybody can get canceled now. And people are getting canceled for stuff that don't make sense now. And just like when we talked about the Me Too movement, and in the beginning, the Me Too movement was all white folks. And we said they was going to pivot and make it about black men. And what did they do? They pivoted and made it about black men. And black men was taking the brunt of the hits to the point where they were going too far. And a lot of y'all don't remember when the trans dude or girl tried to kiss Genuine on the show, and he backed up, and then they tried to make him look he was transphobic. And that's a whole nother issue. Give me 1 second, I gotta blow my nose. Sorry about that. And the reason I bring that into it is because when we bring race and religion into it, the sexuality part comes into it because it's supposed to be religion is not supposed to go with that. But depending on who's doing it to who, it's okay. So now we have these underlying issues, and a lot of times what we're seeing is how the rules change for people's agenda, and religion has nothing to do with it. God has nothing to do with it. All at the end of the day, it's a racial thing per se. The only thing that might get you in that is what do you call that? Gender, as far as adults and children. That's it. But everything else is fair game. I'm sick, so excuse me, but I'm a. Remember when they had the Asian hate crime bill, and now they're doing an anti-Semitic thing. They pushing that. The interesting thing about the Asian hate crime bill and this anti-Semitic thing, to me, as far as racially and the religious thing, is look how often you haven't heard of an Asian hate crime. You didn't hear of many Asian hate crimes before that bill passed, and then it was like a quick run of like maybe about 20, 30 Asian people get attacked. That was on the news. I'm sure it was probably more, but it was on the news. You know, and then there's an Asian hate crime bill, and now you don't hear anything about Asians getting attacked for anything, right? And then on the flip side, same thing with the anti-Semitic thing. It's like, you're pushing what's anti-Semitic for one, and for two, you're not seeing these things often. So, you know, this is normalized. And other people in America looking like, what's normalized? Like, you're really not getting discriminated against. You're really not getting America's weight on you as far as showing you how you can be treated as in less than in this country. You're not really getting that. You know, you may have an incident every blue moon that people go, okay, that's out of pocket. But you're really not getting that. And on the flip side, even with the anti-Semitic thing, normally what happens is some white guy tries to go into a synagogue and shoot up the joint. That's usually what happens. Every couple of years. That's pretty the most anti-Semitic thing you're gonna see. Some white guy run into a synagogue with a pistol and try to shoot up the joint. That's it. May happen like every 2 or 3 years, one time. And that's it. Asians, like I said, nothing. Hispanics, not that much. So now we got these issue after issue after issue. You know, they anticipate that, yeah. So it's like, okay, what are we doing in this country? And the issue with that is now it's now that you see, now that you see it becomes you can't unsee it. You can't unsee it, is what I'm trying to say. Now that you see it, you can't unsee it. Because it's like people are pushing, their agenda. Like, this is happening to us all the time. It's like, no, it's not. I wound up talking about this in another video where I had a story. Like, I had a job, and like on the first day, this guy had a complaint. First day is my first day doing this job, and this guy had a dog, and the dog was just wild. The dog was just going off, just one of them dogs that just if you ain't the owner, I'm attacking. So the dog tore up the guy's stuff, and the dog was riled up because I came to the house. So the dog was inside in the house. So the guy comes to the job, and he complains, and he's like, yo, the reason why this happened is because I'm Jewish. And I'm sitting in the office with the supervisor like, what is he talking about? This happens because I'm Jewish, and like, your dog tore up your stuff because I came to your house because I'm not the owner, and you think that's because you're Jewish. And I was like, I couldn't even. And the supervisor I had was a black guy, but he was into languages. So he was a black guy who could speak Spanish, speak Japanese, and he spoke Hebrew. So he started speaking to him in Hebrew, and the guy was like, So he's let the guys know, yo, this is his first day. He has no idea that you were Jewish or not. He just came to your house. That's it. And the guy was just like, he was on this, his discrimination thing. And I was like, and I had to ask him, like, later on, I'm like, is that still tripping? Like, I mean, he thinks stuff, but doesn't really, it's not a big deal. And what I'm saying is, some people are fishing for racial incidents and racial oppression because they need to look like a victim at some point. That's the same thing. And they use, their quote unquote discrimination against. Because sometimes, and I get it, sometimes people aren't necessarily being discriminated against because of race and religion. Some people are really trying to cover their butts from revenge, because some people can cross people, and what they do is they do something dirty to somebody, and then they hide behind their race or religion. And I've seen this time and time again as an adult. Like, I used to tell a friend of mine, it's sad to say this, but I tell a friend of mine, like, yo, you white, I'm black. Here's the thing. If you pick a fight with me, and you know this, if you pick a fight with me and I beat the brakes off of you, you can automatically go to the 6 foot tall, 225 pounds, bald headed, Cadillac on 24s, get a brother arrested because you don't want to say that you picked the fight. Or if I start getting the better of you in the fight, people gonna come and they gonna stop. They gonna, hey man, break it up. And I said, but if it's reversed, oh no, you're gonna get help. And you've seen this time and time again where you've seen guys who are, you've seen black men get arrested or accosted by the police that had nothing, did anything wrong, and what happened? White people just out of nowhere just jumped on to help the guy get arrested. Whether they were holding the guy down, choking the guy, kicking the guy, punching the guy, it didn't matter. You've seen it do it to black men. You've seen it to go all the way to the extent of doing it to pregnant black women, and they just got the craze in their eye because I can get away with it. It's like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. I said, now, The flip side, you're not going to be able to see that. You're not going to see um, a black officer arrest anybody of who's not black, period, and black people just jump on the person, and tune them up with the black police officer. I got you back, brother, because it's gonna be a lawsuit. Because the rules change, even if you're quote unquote trying to uphold the law, even if the person was guilty. I saw a video a couple of days ago, yesterday or a couple of days ago. They had a guy walk into a clinic with a rifle. And this black guy grabbed the rifle, and he was outside fighting for the rifle. And then 2 other black guys jumped in. And guess what? They took the rifle from the guy. And bada boom, bada bing, then the police came. And the interesting thing was, one of the guys who took the rifle from the guy, if I'm not mistaken, he was on the ground on his knees with his back turned, hands in the air, like, look, it wasn't me, man. I'm just trying to help out. But in another circumstance, that's not how it works, because that's the issue with race and religion in America. Even if you're trying to save somebody's life, when it comes down to it, you might wind up getting yourself shot in the process because you fit the description. You can't be a hero if you look a certain way. You can't save somebody's life if you look a certain way. That's not how it's supposed to go, So that becomes an issue, because America is not really a religious place. America doesn't really care about God like that. God is just, like I said earlier, God is just the excuse we use. God is just the excuse people use to act like they're doing the right thing when they're doing something dead wrong. When they say the road to hell is paved with good intentions, that's what's going on. That's been how it's been. So religion is just different in America. Race is just different in America. And one of the issues that it keeps happening over and over and over and over again is, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do when you find yourself in a situation where you believe in God, but you only believe in God when He's doing something that's beneficial for you? See, if God makes another person suffer for your benefit, that was a good person, you don't care. See, if you did something wrong and you got money from it, and somebody else who did something right suffered from it, you don't care, especially, when it comes to the racial aspect of it. Especially when it comes to the racial aspect of it. And that's what you see time and time again, where people go, when you see the old videos of people who were neighborhoods that were gentrified, or people who weren't given business loans, or old veterans who couldn't buy homes, and this, that, and the third. And I meant to say that about my granddad. My granddad was a veteran. You know what I'm saying? My granddad was a Korean War vet. But what winds up happening is, you're in these situations and you see how these people go, oh, well, I didn't know that, that society was skewed for me to get ahead because of this, that, and the third. And this is where that quote unquote white privilege or comes from. It's because white people who are, say, in their 60s, 70s, 80s, they know exactly how they got ahead, but they play stupid now. You know what I'm saying? They know exactly how they got ahead. Thanks, man. But their kids can play stupid because, and that's that issue that they have with the quote unquote, what is that, critical race theory? It's really just American history, But man, Joe went through a lot. But that's what goes on. So now we got to deal with the idea that, oh, I believe in God and I believe God is a good person, but I believe God is Let me slow down and say this. People in America believe that God is racist. And that's the issue. People believe in America, whether subconsciously, don't have an understanding that, God forgives and does for white people. God is a white people God. And, it doesn't matter, because you can automatically say in this country, if you believed in karma and heaven and hell and what goes around comes around, and you believed in all the principles of the Bible, why would white America keep getting more and more and more stuff? What does that have to do? There is no famine. There is no locust. There is no drought. There is no this, that, and the third. There aren't any of the disasters and afflictions that you see that you read in the Bible of people who have been disrespectful to God. In America, you don't see that. Well, I mean, that's how it was looked at. So it becomes an issue because you got people who believe, well, you know what? This is how we got here is on this BS. And how we gonna maintain it is on this BS. And God bless this and God bless that. And that's the God bless America complex. You know what I mean? God bless America, no matter what it does to anybody. And it's like, yo, I don't know. I don't know if this is a good idea. But sometimes us as Black people, how can we be America's moral compass when, we're portrayed and putting ourselves out here as the most gangster group in America? We're by participating too much into gangster rap, we're taking our moral high ground in America completely out because we're sabotaging ourselves. And you'll say some people will be like, oh, that's other races doing this, that, and us. Yeah and no, but mostly no. You don't have to make the type of music. You don't. You really don't. But if you feel like you're gonna get signed to a label if you don't do it, well, don't get signed then. Or put it out yourself and see where it lasts. But you know what? Oh man, I don't feel good. Y'all gotta excuse me, folks. I'm gonna shut this thing down because I really just wanted to be active today, but I do not. I got the chills like a mug right now. So I'm gonna shut it down. I appreciate y'all, but I'll catch y'all on the next time, man. Peace.
This looks like a job for Superman.
Do this.
Spoken from the lips of the young, of the old, fear of me.
Yeah. Gotta put it all in.
And they are Superman.
All the way. I guess I'm taking off the cape through the glasses in the trash. Being super is great, saving y'all is such a drag. Even God took the break, me I ain't coming back. I got one life to live, if you don't like it, that's your ass. Cause nobody saved me, plus when I'm drunk, I'm just a peon. I could use somebody just like I'm the king of neon. This world is cold as ice, mixed with salt, mixed with freon. They got me pissed off, but that's better than being peed on. For eons, human beings took kindness for weakness. When you constipated, you start to appreciate shit. Put before you life and death, and you just gotta choose. The kryptonite life means you still follow the rules. If your credit's messed up or your bills ain't paid, then it's getting disconnected. Can't nobody say the day. And I can fly, leave a building in a single bound, but I can't stand fair weather friends, and I just fly around. My super friends in Justice League, only folk I kick it with. Kill Lex Luthor, so what, we had to finish it. Kids play games and adults play for keeps. And me, I play to win, but I ain't playing in these streets. And life is not a joke, then again it ain't this serious. Superman can say the day, but God can say the Superman. Saga of the kryptonite, life just ended. You enjoy listening? Man, I finished it. Lois, come holler at me. I got an ice couch. Thank you. coming out, listening. I knew you would like it because we made it. I'm so frigid and so fly.